Hello and welcome to the Schooner Pod Alamo Bowl post-game show. I'm your host, Bobby Howard, and pretty much the only one here. But that's totally fine because we are vibing after the Oklahoma Sooners took out the Oregon Ducks 47-32 in a game that was mostly, I feel like for most people, just a bunch of catharsis for the past month, and depending on who you are, for 2000, a particular game that may or may not have happened in 2006, an onside that was referenced multiple times by the official University of Oklahoma Twitter account. It videos that they put it on the intro. There's a lot of weight to this one, and you could tell from the get-go. While the first quarter kind of started off a little slow, the offense was a little, a little choppy to start. A very good drive to get that first touchdown with the missed field goal. I still felt like they did pretty well. That second quarter was just a beautiful offensive performance, called by OC Cale Gundy. Just truly beautiful. I feel like this was an opportunity for a lot of OU fans to really just get a lot off their chest. And let's be frank, this Oregon team was not very good. I don't think they're very good during the season. If you listen to me talk about them during the weekend spread, I was out on them a lot during Pac-12 competition. I was out on them basically every time they played Utah. I faded their ass instantly. So an Oregon team that I didn't think was very great, entering a game where half of their talent was out, that just isn't going to end well for them. And with OU, there were some questions, but you got to give a lot of credit to Bob Stoops for galvanizing the troops, really stopping the bleed on a lot of the opt-outs, a lot of players who might have transferred out of the program. This looked like a relatively intact team. Even the defensive line that had a lot of guys missing, I feel like the D-line was excellent. Reggie Grimes, excellent. It just really thinking about that defensive performance outside the quarterbacks. DJ Graham, pathetic. Not to knock on the kid, but the amount of times DJ Graham got burnt was just so frustrating and unfortunate. And I mean, look, Woody Washington wasn't safe either. He got burnt on a touchdown pretty bad as well. But for the most part, I feel like the linebacking core and that front three particularly were really, really, really good. And we're gonna break this down, by the way, a lot more in depth. When we get Jameson and Ty and really do a proper recap. This is just kind of like rapid thoughts, just kind of getting something out into the air, right after the game has ended. But I feel like the defense did enough to stop a pretty anemic Oregon offense, and it didn't feel like Oregon had the motivation. They figured it out in the second half. That offense started clicking once they started kind of knowing who to pick on with the cornerbacks. Even though Anthony Brown, just awful. Not a very good quarterback at all. Once he kind of figured out, like, hey, I can still pick on these quarterbacks because they're that bad, things just kind of clicked for Oregon. That offense just started moving down the field. I don't think we can be too harsh on it. I don't think you can get too high with a bowl win. Can't get too high with a bowl loss. You don't want to come off of this game and act like a Texas fan, where we're going to win the Big 12. We're going to win a national title because we beat up on a bad Oregon team. No, that's not kind of the OU way, for one, and two, that's not just a rational way to look at this. It was a energizing, fun performance. It was great to see OU play football. and inspired football at that. Again, because frankly, this is the best they've looked since the second half of Texas, if you have to ask me. But beyond like that kind of energy you get, that's really kind of it. I mean, the offense looked sharp, but Cale Gundy's not calling those calls next year. Jeff Lebby, the way his offense works is it's very much not how there was not a Jeff Lebby offense out there tonight. So I wouldn't exactly be like, oh, like the offense works now because look what we saw in the Alamo Bowl. That's just not it. It's going to be a totally different scheme. It's going to be a totally different system. I will say, I think a lot of people have expressed a lot of frustration with Lincoln Riley, especially when it comes to the running game. Kennedy Brooks had a hell of a night. 142 yards on 14 carries. And it could have been more. They kind of stopped feeding him a little bit in that second half. I believe he had 127 yards of his 142 in that first, set a OU Bowl record, topping Rodney Anderson's 125 in the Rose Bowl in 2017. So, I mean, just a really good, solid running back performance, and it's something you have to look at and be like, well, you have to look at Lincoln's running game and running scheme, and kind of be like, you know what, maybe we might have upgraded in the running department, but Kennedy Brooks was great. Eric Gray also had a very solid performance on the ground. But we got to talk about some guys who really kind of came out of the woodwork here and really did have excellent performances. I thought Jalil Farouk was just a wonderful surprise. His 3 receptions, 64 yards. Every time he caught the ball, I felt like he was a game changer. There's that one specific play where he had maybe 3 guys on him, just drug the rest of the guys up for an extra 3-4 yards to get that first down. Just remarkable. Just lovely. Marvin Mims, while he only had 2 receptions, did have easily, I mean, he had his big reception, so he had 57 yards. Let's be honest, he had one big one that we all remember. That felt like a Spencer Rattler classic Marvin Mims situation where the guy just had nothing but green. And Caleb Williams hit him in stride. And that is the Marvin Mims we've been wanting all season long, and it was so excited to see him. Mario Williams had a better game than the stats reflect. I still think his touchdown where his helmet got ripped off was like, that was honestly one of the biggest bastardizations of a penalty I've seen in my life. So let's think about like face masks and I hate ESPN autoplay, y'all. The whole point of protecting a wide receiver and protecting illegal contact to the head is to protect a receiver. So when we apply the rule where a guy can have a touchdown disallowed because of that, I know you have to be stringent. I know you have to be solid. I know you have to apply the rule as letter of the law, but also there's no way to look at what happened with Mario Williams and legitimately think, that actually, helped the offense. That actually helped Mario Williams. Because it robbed OU of 7 points. And it's just truly one of the more frustrating things I've ever seen. You have to have some sort of discretion. I don't know how you do it. And I hate to even get on this rant when there's so many other good things to talk about, but just super, super disappointing, super upsetting. But look, there's a lot of good offense, and let's kind of pivot a little bit to, the most electric player on the field tonight, Caleb Williams, a guy who a lot of people thought we've already seen. A lot of people thought we'd already seen his last performance, and that would have been in Stillwater, Oklahoma. But he came out and had a hell of a game. Was a really solid game manager. I feel like his timing was better. I feel like he looked like the this was the best version of quarterback Caleb Williams we've seen. Not like supreme athlete, not supreme like big arm, throw it deep, and hope Marvin Mims jumps up and grabs it like Caleb Williams. But like he looked precise, he looked sharp. His touchdown to Stoops in that left corner was just beautiful pass for one. I thought that was just a remarkable performance. And look, if you want to read into the tea leaves, OU had him up there for promotion. The night before to show off the jersey and everything. That never has happened for a freshman this past season. Williams also got a shout out by Brent Venables, who got brought up onto the stage. Brent said he was going to be the future leader of the offense, which is, look, I'm just saying that could be a recruiting pitch, but you don't show up in this manner and have the demeanor that Caleb Williams has if you have a foot out the door. And I think at this point you have an idea of what you want to do. Now, I've been shocked before. I thought there was no way Lincoln Riley would ever leave Oklahoma. I never thought an Oklahoma head coach would leave, for a program like USC. Just, with how downtrodden it is, it just isn't an opportunity you leave. And I was wrong. I was dead wrong. People who have listened to me on Green Room can definitely vouch for that. But I think Caleb's here. I think he's here to stay. Look at the demeanor of him after he won, during the game, before the game. That is someone who wants to be a Sooner, I think. I could be wrong. He could just be just soaking all of this experience up, and he's ready to go after this, and maybe has a change of heart. Who the hell knows? They're college kids. But at the same time, the guys put a lot of time and investment into Norman and Oklahoma, and he did this because of Lincoln Riley. Let's not get it twisted. But once you're in a place for a while, it's hard to leave. Once you're ingrained in a place, it's hard to leave. Especially when that place finds a way to create a lot of support around you where you can succeed. And I think OU is a place where Caleb Williams can still fulfill every one of his goals. Heisman Trophy winner, top pick in the NFL draft. I think those could still be on the table for him, even without Lincoln Riley, because maybe I'm just drinking the Kool-Aid here, or going by the standard University of Oklahoma propaganda, but Oklahoma is OU, the program is bigger than just Lincoln Riley. And I think they made the steps, and I think they've made the improvements, and I think they've made the moves to make this a place where the things that Lincoln was promising are still viable. And he's already here. He's installed. He's Superman. He could be an absolute legend if he stays. So why not stay? Why not come back, play for Jeff Lebby, the guy who made Matt Corral a thing, and just be a freaking legend. He clearly can do it. He can do it. I think Lebby would be a great fit for him. And it seems to me that the administration and the coaching office thinks that he's going to be there. And I think he will be too. And maybe he just doesn't need to say he's going to stay, because he is OU's QB1. Not a lot you need to say after that one. You're QB1, and why the hell would I say I was going to leave? Why would I leave being QB1? Just keep being Caleb Williams. I don't know. But what a performance for him tonight. 21 for 27 through the air, 242 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks. He looked more composed than he had this entire year, and a lot of that has to be practice time. Getting more reps as QB1. That's just massive. That's huge. Great performances, by the way. I gotta say, for a couple seniors, Jeremiah Hall had a couple major fourth down conversions. Um, Brandon Willis, or Braden Willis had some really, really good receptions as well. Um, really good blocks too. So, um, gotta love that. But just a really great night for the offense. Tough night for kicking. Gabe Burkich, what the hell are you doing, my guy? Missing that first extra point. But what are you gonna do? I believe so. Michael Turk kicked twice. I think I had heard a stat from my buddy Thomas at some point in the game that if Turk didn't kick again, he would have passed Matareza, the punt god from San Diego State, as the best kicker basically in NCAA history. I don't know if he hit that mark or not in terms of average, punt distance, but hell of a year from Turk for sure. Um, yeah, no, this is what a game, what a game, what a game. So, um, yeah, look, we have a lot more in depth stuff. I'm a little buzzed. Let's be honest. We're a little hyped. It's a holiday season. It's a good night, but it's not exactly the night for in depth conversation. So I just kind of want to get my opening thoughts on it. Obviously, if you're troubled by Oregon, storming back in the third and scoring a bunch, don't. We have one of the best defensive coaches in the country coming in with his own staff. We'll figure it out. You can't derive too much on bowl games, the good and the bad. Um, I think the most optimistic thing you could glean from this is that I feel like Caleb Williams is coming back, and that enough is pretty freaking great. So, be excited about Caleb. Be excited about the future, but don't point it to the Alamo Bowl. The Alamo Bowl didn't really do anything. The hires, all of that, the energy, the general vibe of this program is a total 180 from that awful Sunday in November where everything seemed dead. That felt like a program that was very much alive, that had players that bought in, and let's just hope they buy into Brent Venables and Jeff Lebby and Ted. Let's be honest, nobody's buying into Ted Roof. Ted Roof is just kind of there to enact Brent's stuff. That's totally fine. But beating up on Oregon, a depleted Oregon team, that doesn't really do anything. Nobody cares. So, we enter the long off season now, and folks, it's gonna be tough. But you know what? We have a lot to talk about, a lot of new changes, a lot of new excitement, and I, for one, am looking forward to it. So, for me and just me, this has been the Schooner Pod Alamo Bowl postgame. We'll catch you next time when we have the full crew with Ty and Jameson to give this a proper finish. But until then, I'm heading to bed. It is late as hell. I don't know how any of you watch this. We had like 4 people on YouTube watch it, and I'm proud of you. But yeah. So y'all have a good night, Boomer Sooner, and hell yeah, Brent. He got the ceremonial. Look, he got the ceremonial visor from Bob Stoops at the trophy ceremony. How perfect is that? It's a beautiful moment. The future's bright. Let's go, people. 2022. This is going to be our year. I'm calling it right now. Y'all have a great night, folks.